What's going on, guys? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Guy.
And we are the Action Guys.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Down the middle. 102 mile fastball.
You said that first on the carpet, and then you gave me credit for it. I almost attacked you when you said it. Who did you said it to? Who did you say it to?
Not one of the stars of the film.
It was someone that was in it, or maybe around it. But yeah,
you were upset. You're holding on to it still.
I just thought I wanted to wait to tell you until we were on air speaking in front of several hundred fans.
What's going on, guys? We're the Action Guys. We're back in studio here on the Collider Podcast Network talking about stuff. We had an engineer in the booth, probably no longer. Checking, Christian? He's gone.
He's there.
He's there.
He's there. He likes to play hard to get.
He elected to not say anything.
We gotta shout out Cody. We didn't do that last week.
Yeah, it's a huge shout out to Cody Hall. New father, doing well, excited. Posts really funny stuff. He said, did you see his tweet? He'd shown his newborn Mission Impossible 6 64 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a good dad.
It's a great dad. I wish my father had been that way.
I wish my father was around. But we were talking about the red carpet. Ben and I were there on the red carpet for Angel Has Fallen as Action Industries.
Yes, this brand that you guys support, that you've helped us build. Many of you have been a huge part of it. We got press access. I don't know how we did.
I don't either.
No, we got press access to the red carpet for Angel Has Fallen. We got to interview Gerard Butler, and we got to talk to Morgan Freeman and Danny Houston and Jada Pinkett Smith and a bunch of other cool people. And it was really, really fun. We had a great time. Brandon Hanna, the former intern, who's the associate producer for the Action brand, was with us running camera, and
he actually edited the footage together. I meant to shout him out on AMA today, but
huge amount
of
work that he did.
Yeah,
incredible. So, so much fun, such a great time, and I am happy to be here to talk to you guys about things related to Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah. So we were kind of first of all, let's do this. You guys can find me at Andrew Guy on Twitter. You can find him at Ben Bateman Media. You can find us collectively at Team Action Show. We also have a YouTube channel where this episode will go on video on Friday to the public, tomorrow to our patrons. That's youtube.com/Action Industries. And if you heard me talk about Patreon, patreon.com/Team Action. It's always growing. It's always exciting. There's always so much content. I was actually just back home visiting my family. My sister is a patron. She's like, I get like 2 emails, or I get like an email every single day from you guys. And I'm like, that's the business. She's like, it's awesome. She's
My
like,
mom says the same thing. She's like, I can't look at them all. I'm sorry.
I know. I told her, you don't have to read them. It's just letting you know what's going on. But all that, we also have a show coming up in New York.
We have a show coming up. It's this Thursday night. That is Thursday, August 29th. We're going to be at the New York Comedy Club in the East Village. That's in New York. We get your tickets right now at NewYorkComedyClub.com. We're going to be doing an hour and 15 minutes of material. It's going to be unbelievable. We're going to be kind of a mini episode of The Action Guys. We'll be doing a full episode of Action Movie Anatomy on the movie MacGruber, which is a fantastic film. Stars Brad Pitt. It's really good. Just kidding. It stars Will Forte. Looks like Brad Pitt.
It does.
And I'll be doing a live song or two at the end of the show. So we can't wait. It's going to be unbelievable. If you're going to be in New York and you're thinking about it, you were on the fence, come see us. We'll be doing like a meet and greet hangout thing afterwards in New York City.
And also, if you guys know of good karaoke bars near the New York Comedy Club in the East Village, let us know. Find us on Twitter, message us, tweet at us, whatever it is. Let us know where we should go have the Action after party. We saw Angel Has Fallen, and we were blown away.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top action franchise of the decade, of the 2010s. And that was inspired by the fact that when we were looking up this film, we were like, wow, is Angel Has Fallen going to be the last attempt at a good movie in this genre for the decade? Because we don't include Star Wars, we don't include the MCU. Those are way too established. And, the other one would be Terminator Dark Fate. I think that's probably the last attempt, really.
Yeah.
But we pondered the question, because Angel Has Fallen, it turns out, was really good. Is this the best movie? This is one thing that I thought was crazy. The audience score of this movie on Rotten Tomatoes versus the critical score. Oh. Critical score was 40%. Audience score, 95%. If that should be pretty telling of what kind of movie this is. And as the audience that wanted to see this movie, that was excited for it, loved it.
And you also got to remember, the audience that wants to see this movie, that's excited for it, they also have expectations. So they made a better movie than they ever did before. I think it's better than Olympus. I think it's way better than London. And they just hit it out of the ballpark. It was just literally, you said at the beginning of the show, it was exactly what you expected, but it was done perfectly. I was going to say with perfection, but it was done perfectly.
So the audience score on Olympus Has Fallen is 66%.
Wow.
And I'm curious what London Has Fallen Rotten Tomatoes is. I'll bet you
58.
I would guess
62.
I would guess lower.
Really?
Oh, I would guess that the audience score on The Limit Has Fallen is like 54%.
You're like 38%. Oh, look at that. It's 38%.
51. It's
51.
barely a point over.
Wow.
95% on this one, guys.
Yeah.
The world loves Jerry B. They've come around. They're on our level now. They saw Hunter Killer. They saw Den of Thieves. They saw The Vanishing.
They saw Geostorm. And they're on board. So there are a couple of rules or stipulations, if you will, around this. So even though movies and franchises can be in contention, so for instance, the Mission Impossible franchise is obviously going to be in contention. I mean, they've had 3 movies come out post-2010. However, of all the things that we're going to be discussing today, everything that's happened pre-2010 from any of these franchises is not in the conversation. So
erroneous.
Taken is on this list, but Taken 1 is not in the conversation.
Yeah,
so it's going to be low.
So we had to be real with ourselves about the quality of. Well, we'll get to that later. But that is today's episode, guys. So we would love to hear what you have to say, your thoughts. Chime in, let us know. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Leave your thoughts below in the comments. You may be watching this on YouTube. If you are, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification thing. Drew and I go live 4 times a week for an hour at a time now, and plus we go live to our generals in the generals chat. If you're a general of the Action Army, which is patreon.com/teamaction, there's like a private chat for the general level for 10 minutes before every stream where you guys get to kind of chime in what you want to hear on the stream. It's really fun. However, getting back to my initial point, I've just been rambling now.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
It is literally what we do. What the hell was I saying?
I don't know. We were talking about getting into the actual talking about the movies that were in contention, getting into the franchises. I don't know, man. I can't read your brains.
You can't read my brains. I can't. I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed.
We've embarrassed ourselves on camera quite a bit.
I've shit my pants.
Don't do that. We've done that before too.
No, what I was saying was you may be watching this on our YouTube channel, the Action Industries YouTube. So click like, subscribe. We have new videos coming out there all the time. You may be listening to this on the Collider podcast feed, and if you are, leave a rating, leave a review. Make sure you subscribe, and thank you to Collider obviously for hosting the show every single week.
Download. So
dick pic. What?
So the franchise is in contention. I'm going to run through them really quickly. There's 2 that are honorable mentions because they've each had 1 film come out, but that just doesn't feel right. Terminator Genesis and Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that if Fury Road was in contention, I think most of us can agree that probably would win. I think Fury Road at this point has been discussed by many people as perhaps the best movie of the decade. A lot of people believe that's the best movie of the last 10 years. Like
just movie period, not even
period.
action. Yeah, right. Yeah. So then if you're going to narrow it down to action movies, it feels like it would just take the cake, no problem.
It's just such a special, unique film that's doing such crazy things. And honestly, when you compare like the practicality of the stunts, it's not that different from what the Mission Impossible movies do. It's just It's a very unique, very special movie that uses the narrative of an action movie not having to use exposition perfectly. Like no other movie does that.
And we're also going to disregard any of the superhero movies, any of the Marvel movies, anything that's in that general world, those franchises. They also feel like they're cut from a different cloth.
Well, I mean, the movies, when we sold Action Movie Anatomy as a show in the first place, the whole idea of it was we want these movies to live on the merits of their own strength, right? Like these are things that you don't go into necessarily knowing this relates to 13 other movies in a saga, and now I'm watching the 14th installment. Like, we mentioned James Bond. Like, we're going to be honest about those movies, but for the most part, what's here? These are pretty original franchises. Like, they're largely sold on the value of the movie that's coming out, not just the value of the franchise.
Yeah. So the 2 honorable mentions we have are Terminator and Fury Road, and then going through the list here, we have Neeson's Taken franchise and the other movies he's done from 2010 forward. They're all about the same. We've got Bourne, Bond, Jack, Equalizer, Wick, Furious, Fallen, and Mission Impossible. And I did that as cryptically as I could.
I was going to try to define what one of them was, but I guess we'll just let you guess.
Yeah. Which one?
Jack. I don't think it's relevant enough that people hear that are like
Simple Jack.
We're going to be talking about the film Simple Jack.
It makes my eyes rain. Jack Reacher, for those of you at home without a computer in front of you.
I forgot about that line.
It's a good one.
Such a good line.
That whole movie is just really excellent. I wish we could just talk about that.
It makes my eyes rain. Come on. Amazing. How much fun do you think they had writing that? How much fun? It's Stiller wrote that, right?
I think so. I can't remember.
He has to have written that.
I would have loved to sit in on that writing session of that movie. It would be so good.
I mean, you just have to think. You just have to think like, just end. God, I looked up Ben Stiller, Tropic Thunder. Just the pictures of Simple Jack. God, this movie's good.
The teeth.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's amazing.
So I think some of the things we're going to do as we go through this list today is we're going to actually rank the franchises at the end. That's something that we really love to do on the show. But we're also going to be talking about the franchise fist pump moment. And again, that's 2010 forwards fist pump moment.
Yeah, the moment that happened in this sequence of films that really, truly feels like the thing that we remember, and some of these have more options than one. We're going to take some liberties, a little bit with this to be a little more, not necessarily down the middle. It's not going to have to just be like one single moment because, fist pump moment is a segment we do on Action Movie Anatomy. And we're trying to kind of do this in line with fist pump moments. So it's like that thing that just makes you just like, man, that's so cool. That is just so cool.
You like look around the theater, like, you guys seeing this? This is insane. We got to watch 2 more hours of this movie.
And so just that feeling is what we're going for. So I think, do you want to start with the franchise fist pump?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's something that we can do. And then maybe we should. Do we want to rank? Do we want to say what our favorite movie is in the franchise?
We could say that. Do you want like all the whole franchise, including pre-2010?
Including pre.
Okay. I'm down with that.
All right. So let's start with the Furious franchise. Okay. And it's tough because there's so many. I mean, there's 8 of them, and now with Hobbs and Shaw, and there's so many fist pumps all the way across the board. But again, if we're going 2010 forward, I think Ben and I agree that collectively, the fist pump is just Luke Hobbs.
It is. I mean, the difference between that franchise with The Rock and without The Rock, it's pretty stark. Like it's like 2011 forward, you get Luke Hobbs introduced, the whole style of the franchise changes, and just something about his energy, that character of Luke Hobbs, it just fits so well into that world. You kind of needed that extra thing, especially rest in peace, Paul Walker, in the post Paul Walker world. It feels like without Paul Walker, that franchise, a lot of the sort of like role players from the earlier movies, they're all right, but it's like, Ludacris and Tyrese.
They're not heavy hitters.
Han. Those characters don't do it for me in the same way. And so, you kind of need those big leads. And I think just the introduction of Hobbs and to some degree Shaw, I never actually thought Statham in those movies was as good. I thought he was fine, and I like Hobbs and Shaw.
I honestly wish that Statham was Luke Evans and Luke Evans was Statham. And we actually got Luke Evans still and only got Statham for a little bit.
Luke Evans is real sweet.
He's awesome. I love him as a villain. He's always been one of my favorites.
Great as Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
He is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie, but I know he's Gaston. I think so. So there's a couple of sweet moments. There's the fight with him and Vin. There's the flex out of the cast.
He flexes out of the cast. I think his monologues in Fast Five are sweet. Like when he first gets on scene, and he's like, I need this, I need this, I need this, and the guy's like, and anything else? And he's like, one more thing. He's like, yes, and he's like, stay the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, and I was like, all right, I'm into this.
All right, Rock.
And then of course the moment happens after he and Vin have gotten into it, and Vin like almost kills him with a wrench.
Right.
And then they're like, what are we gonna do? We need one more person. Who's gonna do it? And you hear off screen, he's like, I'll ride with you, Toretto.
I'll ride with you, Toretto.
And you're just like, I'm so into this.
Yeah.
Right now. This is so good.
Yeah, it's sweet. I mean, he's been referred to as franchise Viagra more than once, and definitely the best thing about the entire Furious franchise, especially post-2010, is Luke Hobbs. Now, what is your favorite Furious movie?
It's 5.
It's
no
5,
question.
right? Hands down.
Actually, the Furious franchise is fascinating because like they're ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah.
But I don't really like the movies that much. I like 5 a lot. I remember liking some of 7. Like some of 7 is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like some of 7.
6 I feel is kind of forgettable. 8's not very good.
Is 7 the one where they jump all the buildings?
Yeah, 7's the one where they go through the Burj Khalifa, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, if Tom Cruise climbed it, we're gonna jump it
through it. Yeah.
through it.
And like none of them, like they all have bits that I like. There was a bunch of bits in Hobbs and Shaw that were really good. Ryan Reynolds was really good. Vanessa Kirby was great. Idris was sweet. There's like a couple really sweet moments in Hobbs and Shaw, but in general, the movies just don't keep me invested for very long.
Yeah, and it just becomes too much. It's like sensory overload. I need those good moments in between, and I felt like you got a lot more of The Rock giving you those moments in 5.
And he is just amazing stuff.
Awesome. We also really love the kind of the reveal of the heist, but I love that in any movie.
Yeah, right.
And this isn't a heist movie. I mean, it kind of is, but it's a Furious movie.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
I think moving on next after the Furious franchise, we're going to jump into The Equalizer. And this is based on an old TV show, obviously. You have Robert McCall, who's played by Denzel Washington, coming in here. And, the second Equalizer is all right. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's fine.
First Equalizer is above average significantly. They're both pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just the type of thing. It's like you get to watch Denzel being a stone cold badass. He doesn't really reach for anything as an actor.
No.
But he's a badass.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, like, definitely Equalizer 1. So I think for me, the moment is got to be the first time he goes into the bar to try to get Chloe Grace Moretz bought out. He's like, there's this girl, she works for you, and here's all the money I have, and he's like,
it's like $7,000.
Yeah, it's like
that.
it's $9,000.
Yeah,
and he's like, the guy like laughs at him, and he's like, take your money and don't come back here. Whatever.
Yep.
And he's walking out of the room. He like stops for a second. He turns around and he goes stone cold killer McCall eyes. Sets the watch, and you're like, it's about to get so real.
Does he do that weird OCD? Does he lock and then unlock and then lock the door again? Does he do that, or am I making that up in my mind? I know he locks it.
I think he just locks the door. You're thinking because he's OCD.
You're right. I couldn't remember if he
What
had like
does
a click
with the
thing.
napkin and the tea and the book. He's so calculated. He picks out his Hawaiian shirt so carefully.
It's Tommy Bahama sponsorship. Yeah, and he starts to like, and then it slowly. The time's ticking, and he just starts to wreck people. Like he like, well, and also when he first gets up from the desk, he like turns the skull and like points it at someone. He like, looks at him, and you're like, what is he doing?
What's he up to?
Yeah.
And he there's a bunch of sweet things because at one point the corkscrew, right, and he's punching the guy with the corkscrew,
gnarly,
like corkscrew holes in
Yeah.
the dude. That's pretty savage. And then also
the broken doesn't he like slice his throat with a bottle?
I think it's a glass.
Yeah.
He smashes the glass. I think he slices the guy's throat with the glass. And then Slava maybe is the guy's name. I think that's the main bad guy or whatever. And he like kills him with, and he says something in Russian to him.
In the neck, right?
He says something in Russian to him. But
what he said, what he does is when he's dying, he's like, this girl, she's gonna get out of here. She's gonna leave. She's gonna live her life, and like your life ends here, like all over $9,000 or something like that. And it's so good.
He does say something in Russian to him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because Slava says like it's just business or something like that. That's like one of that's a line they like to use in these types of movies.
Any movie, it's just
the
business.
bad guy says business, and then like the Avengers like it's not business to me.
It's not business to me.
Yeah.
It's not business. That's an old
It's
Nazi.
literally a Brian Mills line.
It is. I don't think it's really even a conversation. I think Equalizer 1 is the better of the two.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure. And I think that's the best scene.
I think so. I
Right?
love that scene. I mean, the stuff that happens for the rest of it is fine. But, like, that's the first time you see the cool thing. It's like the first time in Sherlock Holmes where you see Downey, like, break down how he's going to fight, and then he does it.
Right.
Because after he does it more than once, it's still cool.
Yeah.
But it's not the same because he didn't know it was coming.
I think my other moment has to be in Equalizer 2 when he goes to get the kid out of the crack house or whatever with the guys. Oh. And the kid's like, "Why'd you do that, Mr. McCall?" And he's like, "What you got, killer? What you got, son? What you got, son? Man is not spelled G-U-N." And I was like, that sequence is so good.
I forgot all about that.
Oh, it's the best part of the movie by far.
Well, and it was like, it's almost comical, but it's like Denzel, so it's awesome.
It's just Denzel. Have you ever watched? This episode is so off the rails.
Denzel scream at a kid?
Have you ever watched that video of Denzel giving his speech?
Yeah. The graduation speech?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
The video is titled, like, "Watch the speech every day and it'll change your life," I think.
Yeah.
I think everybody's watched that video now.
Many times.
Because it's a really good video.
So good.
It's great. And it's Denzel delivering it. This is like Morgan Freeman, like, as the voice of God. Like, it's Denzel being like, he has the whole thing about, like, Thomas Edison invented, like, 47 failed inventions before he invented the light bulb. Think about that. 47 inventions or something like that. He talks about going back to that theater that he didn't get the job at, right? Right? And and he was starring in the play and all that. There's so many good parts of that. But, like,
I've traveled the world.
Yeah, Denzel is so inspirational. So, like, him giving that speech to the kid, you're like, this is not really the movie where this is necessary.
But it just changed my life.
But, like, I wish I was that kid right now.
Yeah.
I
wish I could feel what this is like. I'd be an astronaut. All right, well, if we're in the same vein of movies, I think if we're going to talk Equalizer, we got to go to Jack Reacher.
Yeah, Jack.
The lesser of the two Cruise franchises, in my opinion.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, come on. Jack Reacher, too. Though Paul Denuzio, who runs the Patreon for Action, is a general in the Army, and one of our good friends, actually, is a gigantic. He likes two more than one.
Really?
He said it somewhere. He either said it in a live stream or he tweeted it at me when I was drunk at a bar. Just watching Wick on the screen or watching Reacher on the screen and like with no sound and just ignoring the person I was with, and I was like, yeah, this movie's actually good.
The first one.
It's bad, but it's good. Like I can't stop watching it and I just love it. Like Cruise definitely embodies a character in that movie that's a little different than Cruise we're used to. He's not the right casting choice.
No.
But he does such a good job with it anyway.
Well, it's funny because I think I saw Jack Reacher 2 with like I think I watched it again with like my mom and her boyfriend, or I can't remember. And he was like, he'd read all the Jack Reacher books.
Yeah.
And he like can't get over the fact that Cruise is like 5'6".
too short. You're like, shut up, man.
Like, he's big inside, man. He's got the stature of a 12-foot tall man. Jack Reacher, I'm fine with it. I actually hardly even remember Jack Reacher 2. I remember like the phone call and the thing at the beginning where he's like,
What's a phone call? Does he say something? Oh yeah,
it's the one in the trailer.
Yeah, it's gonna hang up.
Yeah,
right. There's all the lines when they were selling that movie, the promo campaign. Everything they used for the promo campaign is what's good about that movie.
Yeah,
when he's like walks into like that container and he's followed by the guys, he's like, walked in here with just me. That was a mistake. Yeah. This is like thinking about that movie in retrospect. Those are the only things that I like about it.
But in the first one's actually pretty sweet.
So this is really funny. The Rewatchables is a show they do on The Ringer.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that show a lot. And they did Collateral the other day, I think. And they were talking about, no, it was Gone Girl, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Which I like literally nearly lost it when I was like, oh my God, that's Rewatchables on Gone Girl. They're talking about Rosamund Pike. And they're like, oh yeah, she was in Jack Reacher. And they started talking about Jack Reacher for a second. And it's like, there's this scene where like she's in the hotel room and Cruise like comes out of the bathroom with his shirt off. And like I remember this in the theater. The theater audibly laughs. Not because he's out of shape, but because like she like has to pretend like she's like turned on by this.
God. Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, this gruff guy, what's he doing going to the bathroom? And you're like, this is where the wrong guy was cast. Because like I don't even think Cruise believes that. Like there is nobody that believes there is any sexual chemistry in this moment at all. Put your shirt back on, man. This is laughable.
When's the last time Cruise had sexual chemistry with someone?
On screen?
Yeah.
Before he transcended sexuality.
Yeah, who?
At
Nicole
least
Kidman?
10 years ago. I mean, I don't know, man. He like sold. We like make the joke. That's the only place Tom Cruise uses his stunt doubles in the bedroom because he doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know how it works. Like Tom Cruise is in bed. I am entering you right now. I'm ready to enter you. Are you ready for that? They're like, Tom, you got to get out of this, man.
You've creeped everyone out.
That's not on the page, and you're improvising, and it's not working, man. You need to stop.
What's the best moment?
I can do this.
You're screaming at her. What's the best moment in Jack Reacher?
That's ridiculous. The best moment in Jack Reacher for me. So I think the most badass moment in Jack Reacher is the fight in the rain with Jack Courtney.
He's like something about drowning in his own blood or something like that.
The flying knee to the face. Remember that?
Oh, of course I do.
That's a sick moment.
And then he like breaks both his arms and his legs.
It's savage.
Gnarly.
It's a good fight, and it cuts to like I think David Oyelowo inside the trailer, and he can hear the bones breaking.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool moment. But I think for me, my favorite moment has to be when Cruise takes out the guys in the road, and he's talking to the girl, and she gets up and he's got like a bunch of sweet one-liners.
A lot of great one-liners.
And he just kicks the guy's ass. He's like, the first I'm going to take out you, and then you. He like does the MacGruber thing. Yeah. First I'm going to break your nose, but
he actually does it.
He does it. He does it, and he has like so many good lines. And he's still like holding the guy, and then he kicks the other guy in the nuts again. Josh Hellman.
You just made me think about the MacGruber line. It's like, first I'm going to rip out your throat. And then he throws it, and then it just cuts to him being thrown through the glass. He's like, oh, my fucking back.
And they throw the car radio, too.
He gets so mad. Oh,
that movie's incredible.
I can't. I'm gonna watch it again tonight or tomorrow.
We should go watch it tonight.
We should.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Because I got to watch it before Thursday because we're doing an action movie Anatomy on MacGruber this Thursday. But yeah, I think that the scene in the street with Reacher, because she's like,
he ruins those dudes.
Well, because the other thing is just before they go out, he's talking to her and he's got all these good lines. He knows that he's being set up and he knows that she's full of shit. And she's like, and she goes, she's like, oh, good. I like the sight of blood. And he's like, that's good. Means you haven't had your period yet. Or something like that.
Like, it's like gross.
Yeah.
But like kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's Cruise. Once again, it's just like a weird. It feels wrong to see him being that guy.
Yeah, it's like it's weird, but he's sweet. He's super sweet.
Yeah, he is.
That's the best. I think that's the best scene because it's the one that's the most memorable. Because I will always take good lines over good action.
Yeah,
almost 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you can back it up with good action after good line, that's where you've really hit in the sweet spot.
Definitely, it's the moment Cruise comes out of the bathroom with his shirt off.
100% when Joseph Gordon-Levitt feels his Miata. All right, if we're on this train, let's go to Wick because Wick seems like it's the best of the three.
Well, it's also Wick is the one place in the action genre where I feel like you and I are apart from the world because
we really are.
Like so the John Wick franchise on the whole, if you're asking me to rate it out of a scale of 1 to 10, it's like an 8, and it's an 8 because of what it does better
That's
than
even higher. I think I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah. Oh, I was
for
gonna
me.
say 7. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's high, and it's high just strictly because there's not another franchise other than like the top couple here that are doing action better. Like it and Mission Impossible, when it comes to just the action we're talking about,
Pure action.
they're the best.
Yeah.
Like it's so precise. The stunts are so ridiculous.
We're talking about like fighting and gunfighting because like Furious obviously is cars, so it's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, strictly like hand-to-hand combat and gunfights.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, the sheer amount of choreography that has to go into these movies, like the running and jumping and shooting and like all the stunts, it's amazing to watch. It is like as Mac Ryan, who's one of the generals in the Action Army, said on our pre-show generals
the
chat,
bunker.
he said it is a living video game. And that's what it feels like you're watching, right? And so that's cool. It's just that when the second and third movies were both over 2 hours long, they're like 2 hour 20 each, because they were trying to kind of build out that world. The world's cool, but it's
awesome.
not compelling enough because the characters and the relationships really don't matter very much.
Yeah.
So I get zoned out at a certain point. And that's why to me the franchise is really good, but it's not like I don't care very much about a fourth John Wick. I just don't care. Most of the stuff that they've added in, the Lawrence Fishburne stuff, like just don't care.
They need a really good bad guy. They've never really had what feels like a great bad guy. I mean, you had Michael Nyquist.
Yeah.
You had Ruby Rose, and like you have Ian McShane and the Continental
And
itself.
that kind of quirky Asian guy from the last one with the swords. What's his name? The bald guy?
Oh yeah. He was all like
what his name is.
but he's like supposed to be more almost comic relief.
You had the raid guys get in there and fight.
Yeah, real quick, and they got their asses kicked by John Wick, which was also when you were watching that in 3, you were like, these guys would ruin him.
It would ruin him.
Like done.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like I like the John Wick movies a lot. I'm a big fan. Like, I'll be excited to watch it before it comes out, but
Yeah.
I just don't get into it in the same way. It doesn't feel compelling in the same way. And so to me, that's where Wick falls a little short.
The first one is so good.
Yeah, and I think I think we agree that my franchise fist pump moment is the first movie because it's definitely that first fight scene in the house, right?
It's so sweet because you didn't know what you were gonna get yet, right? Like you didn't know how badass John Wick really was, and they have like gun fu in there, and he like snaps dude necks on the counter, and
Right. He takes out like it's only like 12 guys.
Right.
Right? But he takes out like 12 guys with like basically just a pistol. And it's all just like perfectly choreographed. The way it's shot is so cool.
yeah, and then like the actual violence in it, the actual headshots in it, and the kills in it are really like there's care in them. Whereas in
Yeah.
the second and third one, it's just like, all right, headshot here, blood here, stab here, breakneck here. It feels like cooler.
I think because it's just less is more.
Yeah.
Which is so much of what this stuff's about for us, and where I think we and other people with action movies are a little in a different place. Because I don't like watching action movies just for the action. I need other stuff to make me care about the action. Otherwise, like I said, my brain turns off. So that's where I'm at with the John Wick franchise.
So let's go to a really interesting one because we were going to make this an honorable mention, but we decided not to because we had to put Fury Road and Terminator as honorable mentions. It's the Taken franchise, but Taken itself came out pre-2010. So it's literally just Taken 2 and 3. And then if we want, we can throw in the bevy of other action movies that he does on some sort of public transit.
Yeah. So Liam Neeson has had a fascinating career since 2010. I mean, it is remarkable.
Since the beginning of his career, it's been fascinating to consider where he is now.
Where he started,
you know?
where he's now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who played Oscar Schindler and was nominated for an Oscar and was a really legitimate actor. And then right around the time of Taken, his career had kind of it had started to kind of peter out, right? Like he's in Kinsey
Yes.
and he's in Gangs of New York in the early part of the 2000s, Love Actually. He's got the role in Batman Begins. But for the most part, what he's doing in those movies, other than Kinsey probably, is like he's a supporting character. That had kind of been his whole like career arc. He had like usually, but not in like big action franchises. And so then all of a sudden, he takes this role in Taken, which like seems like he's miscast for, and is just awesome. Like everybody knows the speech. It's become very iconic. So his 2010 and forward career after the success of Taken is interesting. It's like
It's almost like it was bad for his career.
well, yeah, I mean, here's what he's in: Clash of the Titans, The A-Team, The Next 3 Days, Unknown, The Gray, Wrath of the Titans. Now it gets really good. Battleship, Dark Knight Rises.
I was saying
Taken.
that first little bit's okay.
Oh yeah, because The Gray is pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
he goes and he makes Taken 2, and now he goes third person nonstop. Taken 3, Run All Night. Let's see where else.
Did you already say The Commuter?
No, that's coming.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
We got The Commuter, we got Widows, Cold Pursuit. So, and I believe I missed A Walk Amongst the Tombstones and Unknown.
Why are there all so many verbs with a noun or like a verb with, you know what I mean?
He
That's
just
an adjective.
that's just what he likes to do, man.
Non-stop. Cold pursuit.
Unknown. The commuter. They're all like 2-syllable. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy run that he's on there, and most of them are really bad. I mean, Taken 2 is okay.
It's okay.
3 is very bad.
3 is very bad. I don't even know what my fist pump is, really, because I've only seen them both once. I think what my fist pump actually is in Taken 2, and please forgive me if I'm incorrect here. I'm pretty sure he goes into the house where all the gangsters live, and he like walks into the kitchen to like offer them a bribe or take a bribe as he's pretending to be a cop.
Yeah.
And there's like probably like a room this size, there's like 10 dudes.
Yeah.
And he kills all of them, right? Because that's what he does.
Of course, that's what he does.
But then when the reinforcements come around the corner and they come and they look in the room, he's gone.
He's gone. Never explained?
He's dead on the floor. He pretends he's dead and then wakes up and shoots both of them. And I always thought that was sweet because, like, imagine being in like that moment where you get in a gunfight with like 10 people in a room and you end up killing all of them and you can hear more people are coming. If you just pretend you're dead on the floor, like, that would buy you a few seconds.
At least a few seconds.
Yeah.
Except now you're lying on the ground
In other people's blood.
hoping that they don't notice that it's you and just shoot you
It's
again.
like, what the hell are you doing laying on the ground?
Kill him! No, I hate to admit it. I've seen most of these movies. I've seen Unknown. I've seen The Commuter. I've seen Cold Pursuit. I've seen
Why?
Airplanes.
Yep, there it is.
Airplanes.
Yeah, 100%.
They're all airplane movies. These
Yeah.
are HBO and airplane movies.
They're the movies that you don't care if you miss the last half of it, you never see it again. But
Yeah.
if the first half is good enough, you'll probably watch it on the flight back home.
Yeah, they're all terrible. I would. I haven't liked one of these movies.
The only good thing that he's done is The Gray.
Yeah, Cold Pursuit. I'll admit, like, because Cold Pursuit they lean into that it's really silly. Like it's intentionally silly.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a joke in a lot of it.
Is John Leguizamo in it?
No, but he should be.
I was just gonna say he should be.
William Forsythe is in it.
Oh, that works. That's, yeah.
You got a lot of people in that movie. The movie was terrible. But anyway, I think that probably those movies are probably the worst.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Liam Neeson fan, though.
I love The Gray. We both really enjoy The Gray. We covered it on AMA. It's a really good movie, directed by Joe Carnahan. Yeah.
Let's do some improvisational comedy.
Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the more popular ones. We've got Bond and Bourne coming up next. We're going to kind of breeze through these two really quickly because the only Bourne movies that have come out post 2010 is Jason Bourne, which was honestly terrible, and then the Bourne Legacy. Is that correct? With Renner? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Legacy. The Bourne Legacy with
Yeah.
Renner. That is correct.
And honestly, the Bourne Legacy was fine. It wasn't
all
a
right.
bad movie.
It's just kind of forgettable.
Yeah, it's kind of forgettable. Oscar Isaac's in it. It's got good action scenes. It's got that cool like tracking from behind him as he jumps from one building to another.
Right.
Our buddy Matt Haggerty worked on that movie. But I think the best moment in the Bourne franchise post 2010, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben, but it's just the trailer of Jason Bourne, right?
When he knocks the guy out. Well, so I remember we watched the trailer for Jason Bourne, like it was like a Super Bowl spot probably.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like a few years ago.
We were
hyped. Because we were like, Damon looks jacked.
Yep.
Look how tough he looks. He knocks this guy
grizzled.
out. Yeah. He looks grizzled, and he's like,
oh my God, is that Tommy Lee Jones?
yeah, we were, Alicia Vikander,
Yeah.
and I think Scott Glenn also.
Yeah.
Right, we were so sad because I believe,
Finney.
was Finney in that one? I think Finney was in 4. Yeah, because Finney only is in 3. There's flashback sequences in 4. That's what it is.
Okay.
And he's pretty far gone.
Yeah.
He's pretty far gone. That's the one where you took that's where you took a lawnmower and turned it into a Ferrari. Yeah. I think that's that one, right?
That's the best moment of the franchise
That's
right
one
there.
of the whole franchise. I think I agree with you though. It's when he knocks him out in the trailer. That's
it.
It's got to be it.
Low on our list. Okay, what about Bond? Because you and I are also... Actually, we're probably in the same boat as a lot of people with Bond now.
I think people have really swung back on Skyfall too. Like a lot of people talked about that movie like they liked it when it came out, and I actually think people have kind of come around on the fact that it's just not a very good movie.
It's just honestly the best thing that Daniel Craig ever did as Bond was clearly
Casino,
by far
and
and
then
away.
Quantum was bad, and Skyfall is above average.
Yeah.
Like it's a 6.5,
But
it's
Inspector is god awful.
It's really bad.
What's the best moment in Bond post 2010?
That's tough. I've seen both movies.
Yeah.
There's like the scene Again, Max suggested this one. It's the scene at the end of Skyfall. We'll have to like kill everybody in the house, and they like walk away, and the house is burning.
Yeah. It's like the Home Alone moment.
Yeah.
He's got all the cool traps, and he's like avoiding the helicopter, and he's got like the underground tunnel. Judi Dench dies at one point.
Yeah, there's that one. There's like a scene I remember. Like Javier Bardem's kind of a sweet villain.
Yeah, he's cool.
Right? He's like blonde, and he takes his face off, and he
got
shoots the girl in the chair.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff was pretty memorable. I remember thinking that was pretty cool. I like the stuff at the beginning of Spectre in Mexico City. Like
the Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead stuff. Because he's wearing the mask and he's in like the sweet suit. I mean, honestly, Daniel Craig looks really good in a Tom Ford suit.
He does.
And maybe it's just him looking cool in the suit with a gun.
Because that's like all of what Spectre is just him wearing that suit in different locations and like him coming out in new suits. Like when they go and actually go to Blofeld's compound.
Yeah, right.
He gets out and you're like, God, I want that suit.
He just always looks, he's always dressed so well and he looks awesome. Is Skyfall the one, too, with the opening sequence where Bond is on he's on the train? Yeah, it is, right? And Naomi Harris. And he's on like the train, and it's like, that goes under the tunnel, and he gets shot and falls off into the water.
Oh yeah,
right.
I think so.
And this is my favorite part about that movie. So next scene you see him, and he's in like Jamaica or something like that, and he's been like drinking for 2 months.
Oh, and he's still shredded.
And he's just shredded out of his mind. And you're like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. You get shot. You can't work out. You go to Jamaica. You drink for 2 months straight without working out because you can't fucking move, and you have a ripped six pack in your 40s.
Yep.
Sign me up.
I'm up for that. If I have to get shot in order for that to happen, shoot me right now.
I got a gun.
In this room.
No, I don't have a gun.
You don't have a gun.
Yeah,
I know that about you.
that.
Okay, so we've gone through almost all of these. Now we've got the Fallen franchise because it's the freshest off the boat. I don't know why I said freshest off the boat. It doesn't make any sense.
This is the most surprising franchise that it's actually still something we're discussing. Because I feel like... Wow, mentioned by Comedy Plugs. Somebody tweeted our show. I don't know who that is.
Oh, the New York City show.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, guys.
This franchise to me is the weird one because like I didn't expect there to be a third movie. When I walked out of London Has Fallen, I remember you and I were both like, all right.
I'm gonna be done with this.
It was clever that they made this, and like I love Jerry, but like we don't need another movie in this franchise. But then they did. They gave us another movie in this franchise. And they made it, and it was better than the first and the second one. I legitimately like the third movie more than the second and the first. I mean, Olympus is close, but Angel's better.
It is. Angel is. I love Angel. I said it today on Action Movie Anatomy. I said my thesis is it's because of the supporting cast around it with the Nolte and the Danny Houston and Piper. But it's just they did it right. The new director, the way that they did it, they changed the story, taking themselves more seriously, as you said, which can actually be usually like a death sentence for these types of movies.
Oh yeah, because if you lean into it too much, like one was so violent, two was so violent. It's like you take all the humor out and you make it even more violent with like an older Banning who's like kind of not in the greatest shape and he's like not keeping it together that well. Is that gonna work? And like totally works.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about how they kind of give him like a pill problem and stuff, so you can kind of believe why he looks and acts the way he does.
Yeah, right. Jerry literally shows up and he's like, "Look, I'm not going to get in shape for this film. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it to my body." And they're like, "All right, we'll write the script for you, Jerry. You can just be out of shape and
give me a drug problem." Just give me a drug problem.
I have a drug problem. We'll put it in the film, Jerry. No, I have a drug problem.
I need your help. Steven, help me.
Steven.
I was going to say, what's the best moment in the Fallen franchise?
So I like Nolte a lot, but I actually think that in general, I feel like the inciting incident that happens in each movie, like in London, when all the elected officials are getting killed, the big, it's like 12 minutes
all on
long.
their way, and they get picked off one by one.
It's like the big money sequence, and in Olympus, it's where the big jet, or it's like that big airplane enters U.S. airspace, crashes, it hits the Washington Monument. Just people getting just shot to bits. They just kill everyone. Banning is like rushes over. He like takes a few guys out. He like tries to save a guy. Gets inside the White House barely. RPG. Yeah.
And then in the third one, it's the badass drone strike that you see in the trailer, but it's actually. You always worry when you see those big moments in trailers. You're like, it can't be that good in the film now because I've already seen the best moments. It is. It's awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I think like what these movies do so well, it's like just one of the old things that we've seen in so many of these action movies. It's like Air Force One's the same way, Set up, here's your characters, big double cross. Now someone's in trouble and a hero's got to get you out. And like that moment when the shit hits the fan, it's so compelling in the good ones.
It is.
You're so excited.
I still think the airplane takeover in Air Force One is maybe top 5 action movie moments for me.
You love it.
I love it so much.
The Xander Berkeley silencer shot.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys check out these reports. Yeah, it's so good. The smoke, Gary Oldman, love it. What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, because Oldman, they have the code. They like get up and they go get the guns.
Yep.
Like,
it's just all over from there.
yeah.
Oh, God, Oldman's the best.
Sweet.
I think the only one we have left then is Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And this one's tough because you and I, our favorite Mission Impossible movie is Mission Impossible 3. Can't talk about it.
Right, and it's not part of the run. And so we're only talking about according to most people, where the franchise got good.
Yeah.
Which is 4, 5, and 6. Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout. 3 really terrific films. The one thing about these movies that's weird is that like the villain's kind of good in 5 and 6.
Yeah.
But like the villain in 4,
Nyquist again.
another Michael Nyquist.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah.
Another Michael Nyquist movie where he's just kind of a forgettable villain in some ways.
I bet he would have been a good interview.
I'll bet you Nyquist
Yeah.
would have been terrific.
Cool.
Yeah, he was also just in that movie we saw. Jerry B. film. He was remember he's the ship captain
in Hunter or not
in
is it
Hunter
Killer.
In Hunter Killer.
In the Hunter Killer, sir. Yeah, I agree. He's pretty forgettable in 4 though. Even though the movie itself is badass, having a forgettable villain just really ruins it for me.
Yeah, I mean it's I think one of the things you said in the early days of action movie anatomy is you can't have a great action movie without a great action movie villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of these, this is far and away the hardest one to pick a moment because there's more kick-ass moments in Mission Impossible 4, 5, and 6 than there are in literally the rest of these franchises combined.
100%. And we'll breeze through them really quickly. We got the Burj Khalifa in 4, obviously, and the Sandstorm fight in 4 with the car flipping.
I love that moment where it's like the sound cuts and he's running and then that car like smashes in front of him. Like what a just badass action sequence.
And the way they put it together is just so awesome. Then obviously in 5 you have the infamous trailer shot of him hanging off of a fucking plane.
Airplane, yeah.
And then
real life.
Also, people still don't know that he learned to hold his breath for 6 minutes.
For 6 minutes. So he jumps underwater. He's actually holding his breath. That's crazy. He's on the motorcycle after he's legally died.
Yeah.
He's like rounding the corner. His knee grazes the ground. He goes that's so badass. I mean, that sequence is amazing.
Yep.
There's the escape fight when he first meets Ilsa Faust and they're fighting together and he does the 6-pack vault off the pole. And 50-year-old.
What was that? that was the sound I would make when I do it.
And like 52-year-old Tom Cruise is
like a weird looking 8-pack.
Fucking Olympic gymnast who just and he's so tan and you're like, what? Whose body is that?
That's his body.
It's Cruise.
It's weird. And then obviously in Fallout, you've got the awesome bathroom fight scene with him and Cavill and the other guy's name who I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, but he's unbelievable.
He's so badass. And then you've got the helicopter, him hanging off the helicopter and falling down.
So crazy.
Yeah, horrifying. And then also he breaks his ankle when he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop in real life.
You've got the ankle break moment. I mean, 6, Fallout has just crazy scenes. Like crazy scene after crazy scene. I mean, Cruise flying the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the corkscrew turn over and then fighting Cavill on the mountain at the end.
Yeah. God, that movie's sick.
Mission Impossible Fallout is like unbelievably ridiculous. Like it's just next
That's my
level.
favorite one in 4, 5, and 6.
It is.
I think so.
Yeah, it's for me. It's a toss up 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. I mean, I really need to go back and watch 5 again.
I do too.
I've seen both of them twice.
I love the trailer for 5.
Yes.
Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation trained to do what we do.
Benji. What's the actual moment?
I think it's the bathroom fight in 6.
Really?
Well, because it's got the Henry Cavill fistcocks.
Which is way cool in the trailer.
It's got the flying elbow guy flips through the plate like the mirror or glass or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I remember seeing and thinking was insane.
The like fighting with the pipe thing.
Yeah.
He literally is kicking the shit out of both of them.
And like it's so brutal and like Cruise is just trying to get up and he's like, I still have to fight this guy.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. That fight sequence is just insane.
And then the only reason they win or survive is because of Ilsa Faust.
Because Ilsa Faust.
She shoots the guy she's working with.
I love Ilsa Faust.
God, I love her. She's
Huge
wonderful. Okay, so those are our fist pump moments and our favorite film in each of the franchise. Now, I mean, do we rank the franchises? It feels like it's pretty close to already being said with the way that we talked about them.
I think we can rank them. Let's see. We make sure they're all written down here, right?
They
2,
are.
3. Okay, so we got them all in order here.
I think the worst is got to be the Taken franchise, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're just those movies are all bad. Even the Gray is the only one, right? You get the
That's not an Taken franchise.
you get the Gray, and then you get Taken 2, the 3, and all of those other movies. And like his flashback in Dark Knight Rises is better than all of those movies. His like A Monster Calls is better than all those movies.
Yeah.
Like he just the only movies he did in the 2010s that were good were like not any of his like just his actioners.
I know. I feel like he needs to stop now.
You think so? But
but he's not
the
going
Cold
to.
Pursuit. They're just like, yeah, here, man, we'll give you $4 million.
the money. Exactly.
You $5 million to go do this, and he's trying to mix in movies. He did Widows. He did Monster Calls. He's trying to do movies that are like more.
I like Monster Calls enough.
It's a good movie.
Fine. Yeah.
Like he's. Yeah.
I think after Taken, we go Born. As terrible as that is to say, but if we're talking 2010, post 2010 Born.
I like Bond even less, to be honest. But
Really?
I could give you Bourne. Bourne's just so forgettable. Like,
Okay.
like Jason Bourne is a movie I literally almost remember nothing about.
So we'll go Taken, Born, Bond.
Yeah, because those Bond movies are just not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
And then I would say probably the next one on here that I'd go with, it's got to be probably Reacher.
Yep, I think so.
Because there's just one good Reacher movie. And then
Sorry, Paul.
maybe Furious after this. It's
Really?
Probably, it's
So you
probably
like-
it's probably Equalizer though. Honestly,
Yeah?
right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you definitely got my my ears perked up when you said Furious, but I think I agree. I think you go Equalizer and then you go Furious.
Because there's a few good scenes in the Equalizer movies, but on the whole, the Furious franchise is still something that I get like excited to watch.
Yeah.
There's
and
still like ludicrous movies. Like we've been excited to watch all of them.
we were excited to go see the screener of Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and
we
Shaw.
really were.
Yeah.
Then I think if you're going to go Furious there, then you have to go Wick next.
Yeah, I think you do have to go John Wick. That makes sense.
Makes sense that it'd be in the top 3. So that means that only leaves 2 left, which is, I think it's pretty clear. It's Fallen and then Mission Impossible, right?
I love that we have the Fallen franchise ahead of the John Wick franchise.
Literally no one else in the world.
Yeah.
What did Coy say?
He said, I like
yeah.
this. He goes, yeah, Coy Jandreau, you guys know Coy. He's like, I like this new age of Nolte. What did he say?
He's like the Vietnam in the eyes or something like that.
Vietnam in his eyes, Nolte.
Yeah.
This is so true. Like, go see Angel Has Fallen if you haven't, guys.
Yeah.
It's super sweet. Nolte is the best part, and he does have Vietnam in his eyes.
He really does.
like Nolte is he's just leaned into just being crazy and just. God, he's good.
He's so good. And a big shout out to Lionsgate for getting us the credentials to get on the carpet and get to talk to these incredible stars for a movie that we loved. We truly did love this movie.
Yeah.
We actually got to see it before the cast saw it, which was kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them hadn't seen it yet. It was we got to one of the guys we interviewed was Frederick Schmidt.
Yeah,
who actually.
I thought you did a really great job with that interview. I really liked that guy.
Yeah, he was great. Frederick Schmidt plays the asshole older brother to Vanessa Kirby in Mission Impossible Fallout.
Zola.
Yeah, Zola. He's the guy that like he doesn't trust Cruise all the way, and he thinks he's full of it. And so we talked to him, and he talked to us a little bit about working with Cruise and told us some stories. And he was great. He was really awesome.
Yeah, he was really charming. He had a really nice bright purple tie on with a neon baby blue.
Yeah, no, it was a really good look.
Pocket square.
He really put that together.
Okay, guys, so those are our rankings of the franchises of the 2010s. Let us know what your ranking is. Honestly, I feel like ours is going to be pretty different than a lot of people's. I feel like Fallen will be a lot lower. John Wick will maybe be in first or second.
Yeah, I would think so. I think some people like Reacher more than we do. Some people like the Bond movies. I actually think this is really interesting, but I really do believe these are the action franchises of the decade.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars doesn't feel like it's right, and then all the MCU movies don't feel like they're right
DC
either.
stuff, yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap up the episode here, guys. Come see us in New York on Thursday. Get your tickets right now, NewYorkComedyClub.com. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow Action Industries everywhere. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment on this video. And if you're listening, leave a rating, leave a review, click subscribe. We'll see you guys very soon.
Bye.